thanks for coming. So I'm gonna discuss how to grow an organic garden for sustainability. I'll start by introducing myself, giving you a little bit. So I started gardening. It became my passion when I wanted to feed myself. I can't go to the store every day and afford fresh produce all of the time. So that's how I started getting into gardening. Just to clear things up, American Heritage Dictionary defines organic as natural animal or plant matter. Sustainability is to maintain or sustain for a long period of time. So what we'll cover today is planning your garden, building your garden, planting your plants, maintaining, and then harvesting. So we'll start with the planning. First, I want to cover compost, which is essential to your organic garden because it's going to feed the plants and your soil and make it, over time your soil will change to become more self-sustaining. So to do your compost, you'll need 4 elements. You'll want dry, which is mulch, pretty much, dried leaves, paper, twigs, whatnot. You'll also need wet garden rubbish as well as kitchen rubbish, and then air and water. You'll want to build them in layers, equal parts, first dry, then your kitchen greens and your garden greens, wetting each layer till it's damp like a wrung out sponge, and then covering to protect from sunlight, rainwater, and to help the decomposition. To speed it up, you want to turn it or mix it, bringing the outsides in, the insides out, as well as if needed to dampen it again, and then you'll cover it. This can take anywhere from 2 weeks to 1 year depending on how big your pile. A small pile suggested is 3 by 3 by 3 feet. And then you can build them either layers in piles, in silos, barrels, or whatnot. After you have done your compost and it is ready, it'll be a dark earthy color. Nothing will be recognizable, and you will have a nice rich sweet smell coming from it. After that's done, you are ready to choose your location as well as prepare your ground. Your location, you want to, if possible, survey your area for at least a year to determine the sun path, as well as if there's any low-lying areas where ponds will form, or high areas where there's high winds that could destroy your plants. And you also want to take into consideration how much space you have for things to grow upwards, outwards, downwards, and whatnot. And once you've decided on your location, I suggest deciding on your plants before you build, so that you can build and have your plants. The way I determine what plants to plant, first what I eat, then of those what is native. Once I get through the natives and whatnot, then I move on to the exotics. The reason I go for the natives first is they're easier to grow, less maintenance, they'll grow in those hard areas. I mean, they're native, we have the environment they require already. And then you want to take into consideration what's compatible with each other as well as what will damage each other. So once you've decided on your plants, you can build your garden. I suggest a raised bed. It's a little bit easier. You can start by either using a till or a tractor, or your hand. I use my sickle and my hand, grab my grass, stick it under in a sawing motion, pull it back, you get a nice blanket of grass, shake off the dirt, pull out the earthworms, compost my grass. And then, once that's all done, you can take a rotary or your hand rake and just kind of make it nice and smooth and everything. And so now your bed is, you want to put a border. Rocks, natural, we're doing organic, so rocks, I use my lava rocks, I use ohia. You can buy like cinder block, woods that are naturally rock resistant, like cedar or something, and then put your border. Get your plants. Your plants, I like to take the plants I eat, the food I buy, that's how I started, my potato, my carrot, whatever, stick it in the ground, see what happens. Sometimes they take, sometimes they don't. They're intended for eating, not growing, so they don't come with instructions or anything. They're not stored at the right temperatures for growth, but they're free. I mean, you're gonna throw that thing away or whatever, you might as well throw it in the ground if you're not gonna compost it, right? And then you could also, buy seeds, seedlings. I like to pull things out of the ground, but sometimes they don't survive the shock of being transplanted. These are some seedlings I brought here, just so you guys can see. Seedlings are plants that have already been started for you. These are seeds. They work out a little bit better because they do have brief instructions here. The seed packets, even better. They have harvesting instructions on them. Walmart, Target, Island Naturals will let you buy your seeds and seedling food plants with food stamps. So that's good. Once you've got your plants, I like to bring them home, arrange them in my bed in their pots, keeping in mind how big, how far, if they're compatible with each other and whatnot, and then planting. When you want to plant, this is the transplanting stage. With seeds, more than likely you'll transplant. I don't suggest planting them in the ground, because then when you go to weed, you don't know what is a new sprout and what is a new weed, and it makes weeding rather difficult. Sometimes you end up with nothing because you weed it all out. So these are the starters. To transplant, you know, you massage the edges, place your index and middle finger over it, turn it upside down. You should get the whole thing out, then you can just stick it in your hole that you've dug, cover it up, and you know, you want to cover up to, if you're not sure, the first stem or leaf off the main one, and your plants are planted. To maintain, it's fairly simple with an organic garden. You're going to want to spread your compost or mulch, maybe 2 inches during growing season and planting season. In Hawaii, you know, we're kind of year round, so every 6 months or so, just to reintroduce nutrients and whatnot. The more diverse your mulch and compost, the better nutrients you get. And then after you've put your compost and you weed it and you wait, it's harvest time. You want to know beforehand how long to wait for harvest, what to look for, how exactly you're going to harvest. Some plants you harvest the whole thing, some you just harvest the fruit. Some plants change color, some plants metamorph completely from flower to fruit. So those are the things you're going to want to keep in mind when you're harvesting. And like I said, knowing how long till harvest will take away a lot of the anxiety. So in conclusion, I have hopefully equipped you folks with the basics to get your garden started. Now you know how to compost. In the handouts here there are, you know, compost essentials, some zoning to plan, as well as tools to use. Anybody have any? One question.
What are you growing right now?
Right now I've got a variety of vegetables, mostly sweet potato, tomato, lots of kale, spinach, eggplant, cucumber. That's about it.
That's
Yeah.
a good size garden.
So yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys again. Thank you.